Welcome to the Explainer. I'm so glad you're here. Look, if you're someone who is absolutely all about that cozy, whimsical, Shinies and moss lifestyle, you are in for a real treat. We're diving straight into the breakout 2026 shopkeeping hit, Trash Goblin. And today, we are focusing strictly on the bottom line. I'm going to walk you through a definitive beginner's guide on the absolute most efficient methods to maximize your gold earnings. We're going to take those discarded little treasures and spin them into serious profit. So let's just get right into it. Now, our source material lays out what they call the golden rule of goblinhood. If it's trash, it's just a treasure that hasn't found its person yet. And honestly, that completely sets the tone for everything we're about to cover. Whether a trinket is caked in mud, covered in weird moss, or just looks totally busted, it has hidden value. To make the big bucks, we have to really embrace the joy of digging through everyday discarded items. It's not junk, right? It's future inventory.
All right, moving on to Section 1, Morning Delving and the Cursed Armoire.
Here's the deal. Ignoring the main story in this game is actually a huge financial mistake. Progressing your loot really comes down to 3 basic steps, but it absolutely kicks off with the Cursed Armoire questline. By pushing through this quest, you upgrade your Delver's license. And why do we care? Because a better license is literally your only ticket to unlocking higher tier loot in your daily sack. Better starting trash equals a way higher ceiling for your final sale prices. Next up, Section 2, Prepping your trash. Okay, so before you can even think about cleaning a trinket, you gotta chip away all that encasing rock. And if you've played even 5 minutes of this game, you know those purple cubes in the chipping minigame are a massive headache. They're a huge time sink. The guide strongly advises prioritizing the long chisel upgrade as soon as humanly possible. This thing breaks 3 purple cubes in a single straight line. It drastically speeds up uncovering those rare trinkets. Less time chipping means way more time crafting. Once that item is finally out, you might be tempted to just toss it on the counter and sell it immediately. Don't do it. There is a massive difference in value between dirty and clean trinkets. Dirty trinkets sell for pennies, practically. You're literally throwing away gold if you don't clean them first. Always give your finds a really thorough scrub with a sponge. Scrubbing off that grime boosts your final sale prices significantly. As the guide puts it, one goblin's grime is another goblin's lost revenue. Let's roll into Section 3, Crafting High-Value Shinies. If we really want to build our wealth, we need to talk about sockets. The real serious money in Trash Goblin comes from attachments. Because of that, you need to start a hoard of specific base items. The source explicitly calls out the orrery, the loot, and doll bodies. Why these specifically? Because they feature multiple sockets. They let you cram on the maximum number of attachments. And filling all those sockets with quirky, weird add-ons is exactly how you jack that price tag up to its absolute maximum. Now, to actually support all this high-end crafting, you need the right tools at your workbench. We've got a breakdown of the key upgrades here. We already talked about the long chisel, but take a look at that display mat. Once you unlock the display mat, use it constantly. Any item sitting on that mat earns a flat bonus multiplier when it sells. So take those crazy multi-socket upcycles we just talked about, like a fully decked out orrery, slap them right on the display mat, and just watch the gold roll in. Oh, and we'll circle back to that soaking tub in just a sec. Moving right along to Section 4, Managing the Shop Window. Believe it or not, queue pacing is basically your secret weapon for daily income. You're going to see 2 main types of customers at the window. If a customer asks for a specific item and adds only in parentheses, you can't add any cool attachments to it. Your profit margin is totally locked. But customers who ask for something fancy, they give you total freedom to use those multi-socket items and crank up the price. So don't be afraid to dismiss those only customers. Seriously, shoo them away to clear your queue for the big spenders. And speaking of clearing the queue, we have to talk about the named NPCs. These are your quest schemers, right? And they will stand at your window indefinitely, literally forever. And while they're just hanging out, they're physically blocking brand new paying customers from showing up. If you don't have the exact item that an NPC needs right then and there, do not let them stall your business. Just dismiss them. You can always summon them back later using the pull-down chalkboard. You gotta keep that line moving. And finally, Section 5, Overnight Goblin Efficiency. 20 gold. That is exactly what a coffee pot costs. And, according to our source, caffeine is 100% a necessary business expense. Dropping this tiny amount of gold actually grants you an entire extra activity slot for the day. It is pretty much always worth the investment. That one extra slot means you can squeeze in one last high-value upcycle, or maybe make a crucial supply run to the market before you finally go to bed. So what do you do with all the leftover bits and bobs at the end of the night? The guide rightly points out that inventory management is basically the true final boss of this game. To beat it, you want to buy the pay what you can box. This is brilliant. It lets you just dump your low-value junk and random leftover parts right before going to sleep. Sure, you only get a handful of coins for it, but the real magic is that it keeps your workbench perfectly clear for tomorrow's big-ticket shinies. Okay, wrapping up with the absolute ultimate efficiency hack. Remember that soaking tub we saw on the upgrades table? Your very first major gold investment needs to be upgrading that tub. See, manually cleaning items with the sponge during the day eats up your incredibly limited time slots. But with the upgraded soaking tub, you can toss 3 dirty items in there to soak while you sleep. The tub literally does the manual labor for you overnight. You wake up and boom, clean inventory ready to be crafted. And that brings us full circle. If you stick to this workflow, pushing the license, grabbing that long chisel, hoarding multi-socket items for your display mat, and ruthlessly managing your customer line, you are guaranteed to maximize your gold. So, I'll leave you with this. With a clean workbench and upgraded tools waiting for you, what hidden treasures will you upcycle from tomorrow's trash? Thanks for hanging out with me on The Explainer today. Get out there, embrace the moss, and happy upcycling.